Good morning. This is just a little follow-on from yesterday's workshop, just looking at releasing a few muscles around the neck and the shoulders and just strengthening a few muscles through the upper back, just to help maintain better posture. So as we spoke about yesterday, sometimes when you're in your upright position, if you're a little bit more rounded through the upper back from spending time at computers and desks, reading, driving, the muscles in the upper back get a little bit lengthened and the muscles through the neck and across the top of the shoulders get a little bit tighter as well, and so do the muscles through the front of the shoulders. So we're going to look at getting everything released and come into a nice strong set position. So to start with, I just want you to breathe. As you breathe in, you take a little lift of your chest as if you're lifting your ribs up away from your hips, and then let your breath go and let yourself round forwards. So you want to feel your breath comes really high up into your chest, it lifts your chest, and then gently breathe out and let it go. So feel the in-breath lifts the ribs, lifts the chest, and the out-breath allows you to relax back down. So as you're breathing this time, you're going to take a little lift of your chest and gently draw the shoulders back. Now sometimes if you're a little tight through the front of the shoulders here, the muscles here is like fingers that attach onto each of your upper ribs, and they can tend to drop the shoulders forward, and you'll feel that your palms hang and face towards the back of the room. So what I'd like you to do from here is just breathe in, rotate your palms forward and give your shoulder blades a little squeeze together. So again, breathing in, you'll feel your shoulders physically roll forward, and as you breathe out, just squeeze your shoulder blades together as if you're trying to get your shoulder blades to touch your spine. And again, a little breath in, you'll feel the shoulder blades separate, and as you breathe out, turn your palms, and again, breathing in, and then breathe out to squeeze. Now keep that little squeeze between your shoulders, just gently press the hands back and then let your palms face forward. You might again feel the shoulders round, so breathe in, lift the chest, turn your palms, and then a little out breath to push the arms back. If you can, just try and keep the chest lifted the whole way through. And as the arms go back, try and be aware that you don't physically push your rib cage forward. So we're trying to keep the spine in a nice strong set position. Draw the hands towards the ankles, turn your palms back, and then gently press the hands behind. So we're looking to try and release the shoulders. Now if you feel that when you push your hands back, your spine flexes forward, then don't take the hands as far. So again, you're trying to keep your chest up and open, then gently push the hands back. They might not go this far, they might just come to here. But again, just being aware that as you do this, you're not changing the position of your spine. Now we're going to do two more, pushing the hands back. Keep the crown of your head gently drawn up towards the ceiling. And this time, as you push the hands back, we're just going to pulse them here. So just gently, keeping the arms nice and long, reaching back and towards your fingertips. Little connection to your core now, so your back doesn't arch for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, try and keep the shoulders drawn back and down, and now we're going to bring some movement through our neck. So you're going to pull the crown of your head up to the ceiling, roll the shoulders back and down so you feel really open and lengthened here, and keep your palms facing in, and that'll stop the shoulders dropping forwards. When you're ready, just gently turn your head from side to side, keeping the chin tucked in, and just let that movement come through your neck, but keeping the trunk of your body nice and still. Try and breathe out as you twist, and then breathe into the centre. Breathe out to turn, and a breath in to release. Just a little glance back over your shoulder. Now from here, stay in the centre, you're going to gently draw your chin down towards your throat so it lengthens the back of your neck, and then just bring your eye gaze forward. Keep the palms facing in, draw the chin in so you're lengthening the back of the neck, and then bringing the eye gaze forward. Now you're going to repeat a few more of those. What tends to happen if we carry our head forward because the back's a little bit rounded, over time these muscles are trying to keep your head and neck in line with your shoulders. When your head starts to come forward and the muscles in the mid-back start to lengthen, you're then working against gravity, and the head's quite heavy, so again the muscles are going to keep lengthening and getting weaker. So our posture ends up quite rounded. So all you're trying to do is keep the muscles in the back engaged and just get a stretch into the back of the neck. And you're going to do that one more time. Keeping the chin tucked in so your eye gaze is forward and you feel like the base of your neck is pulling away from the top of your shoulder blades. Now from here, roll the shoulders back and down again and just take your ear to your left right shoulder and then into the centre and then over to your left shoulder. Now you're trying to make sure as you take your ear to your right shoulder, your left shoulder doesn't lift and vice versa. Because when your shoulder lifts, you'll feel your ribs collapse down towards your hips and you're using your set posture. So you want to keep the back nice and long and just allow the movement through the neck. And if it helps between each one, just roll the shoulders back and down, feel the fingertips pulling down towards the ankles. And you should feel the stretch from the top of your shoulder, just up below under your ear. And again, a couple more to each side. Keep pulling the fingertips down towards your ankles. Keep the shoulders nice and still. And then this time we're going to add a little turn. So you're going to take your ear towards your right shoulder, keeping your eye gaze forward, and then bring your chin down towards your shoulders if you're looking over your shoulder. And then bring your eye gaze forward, and take the head to the left. Have a little glance over your left shoulder, and then come into the centre and head up tall. So just find a stretch here first, keeping the chin tucked in, like roll towards the shoulder so you feel the stretch then goes a little further and deeper around into the back of the neck. And just give your bottom a little squeeze, so it helps keep everything nice and still. Pull your left hand down, look to your right, and eye gaze forward and lift the head. Pull your right hand down, take your ear to your left, and just a little glance over your shoulder. Now this time as you come to your right hand side, you're just going to hold here for a little bit longer. You're going to turn your chin towards the shoulder. You're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, you're going to pull your left hand down just a little bit further. Not to the point of pain, just feeling that stretch gently increasing. And then you're going to breathe in again. And as you breathe out, you can see you turn your head just a tiny bit further. And then bring your eye gaze forward and head back into the centre. Roll the shoulders, take a breath in. As you breathe out, your left ear to your left shoulder. Bring the chin towards the shoulder so you're looking down towards the shoulder the best you can. And letting the head become a little heavier, easing across the side. Now breathe in. As you breathe out, pull your right shoulder down. So again, you're trying to move your shoulders as far away as you can from your ear to increase that stretch. And again, not to the point of pain, because your body won't allow it to go any further. So it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. So breathe in when you're ready. And then again, breathe in and gently turn the head a little further. Walk your fingers down your right thigh. And then come back into the centre. Just doing a few shoulder rolls. Draw the shoulders back. Try to feel your shoulder blades pulling down towards your back pockets and your hands sliding down towards your thighs. Let your knees stay nice and soft. Keeping the chin tucked in so the head doesn't start to drop forwards because that will round the upper back. We're trying to keep the chin gently drawn back towards the throat, and that helps keep the back and the neck in a nice strong set position. Okay, this time as you come to here, we're just going to lift our right arm. So your elbow is in line with your shoulder. You're going to keep your chest really square to the front and you're going to try and gently draw the elbow back. Now if you feel when you pull your elbow back, your body's having to twist, just make it a little bit smaller and you want to feel the stretch across the front of the shoulder down towards these ribs. And remember, this muscle's got like fingers on. The muscles hold on to about 3 of your different ribs. And you could be more tight on the top one, which makes the shoulder drop forward. So when you open the arms, if you just press the arm up gently, pull the shoulder back and come forwards. Pull, press, come down and in. Breathe in, out, in and out. And again, as you're pulling the arm back, you're trying not to push the ribs forward. We're trying to get the movement to come from the shoulder and the stability to come through the trunk of your body. Now just stay here, reach up and pull down. Have a constant feeling that you're drawing your shoulder blade down in towards the back of the rib. And as you lift the arms, you feel that stretch just slightly change through your chest. 2 more. And then 1 last one. And then you can let this arm have a rest. Roll the shoulders again. When you're ready, bring your left arm up, open it in line with your shoulder. You might not get the arm as far back as your shoulder. The muscles might be quite tight and keeping it here. But if the muscles are tight, you'll feel the shoulder rolling in. So first of all, roll the shoulder back and down. Feel like you're slotting your shoulder blade down into the back of the rib. And then just squeeze the arm back very gently. Breathing out to draw the arm back. And again, where the ribs aren't pushing forward, or where the rib shoulder isn't rolling forward. So you're trying to get your fingertips pointing up towards the ceiling. So what happens if the fingers point forward, the shoulder will roll forward. Got that constant feeling of slotting the shoulder blade down to the back of the rib. Then when you're ready, just a little reach up, pull the elbow down and come in a little. Pull, press, come in and release. So the problem is a lot of things we do in day-to-day life, we tend to be in a flexed forward position, which means when we're sat in a chair, when we're sat driving, when we're reading a book or looking at a computer, the head's forward and the upper back's rounded. And you can just stay here for a second and keep pushing your fingertips up to the ceiling. So all we're trying to do is strengthen the muscles in the back and release the muscles in the front. And again, it's the muscles in the front that become a little bit tighter and shorter as we collapse forward. So you're physically just trying to open up your chest, get a little stretch into the chest as you push your fingertips up for 2 more, and once more. And then bring your elbow in and release it down. So again, because we're in this flex forward position, muscles are a little bit lengthened through the back, a little bit weaker. And when those muscles are weaker, you're against all these muscles that are shorter and tighter pulling you forwards. So let's try and get them moving. Hands just by your thighs. Right leg step forward and lift your arms to a wide V. And then your hands come back to your thighs. So you're opening and then coming back into the centre. Now, as you step forward, let the rib cage just lift a little. Because again, when you're in that flex forward position, the upper part of the abdominals become a little bit shorter and they're pulling the rib cage forward and keeping these back muscles really lengthened. So the more you can release here, the easier it is then to start getting the back muscles working. And it's about finding that equal balance through the front and through the back of your body. You can let your eye gaze start to lift. And don't rush, just feel the stretch. Breathing in as you come forward, and then breathing out to lift and reach. In through your nose, and then out through your mouth. Let your back heel just peel off the ground. So all we're doing is taking our body in the opposite direction from which we tend to sit in a lot. And give me 1 more on each leg. Opening, releasing, opening, and releasing. So hopefully we've got a little bit more release through the shoulders and you feel it's easier for shoulders to sit in this set position. Now again, when we're rounded through our upper back, sometimes the lower back can become quite rounded as well. I don't know, very good, does it? So you can just see by addressing these muscles, it can completely change the way we look. Now let's think about our lower back. If your hips are tilting forward, the muscles, and just below your belly button down towards your pubic bone, are longer than they ideally should be. And the muscles here in the back are shorter and putting compression into your lower back. Now because we're tight here and lengthened here, the muscles, the hip flexor muscles that attach to your lower back down towards your hip, then are in a shortened position because we've got the pelvis slightly tilted forwards. So again, the muscles through the front of the hips need to release and the lower back. And we need to get these stronger. So think about your hip bones. They're pointing now down to the floor while you've got this exaggerated curve. And you're going to try and gently point them forward or even up towards your ribs. Then you can let the hips tilt down towards the floor. And again, feel like your tailbone scoops under and you feel the lengthening from your lower back, like you're pulling your tailbone away from the bottom of your ribs. Now it might feel like you're not moving very far at first, but as long as you're feeling a mild stretch in the lower back, you're just starting to lengthen and open here. As you're lengthening here, you're pulling up from your pubic bone. So if you imagine you've got a little piece of string here, so tied to your pubic bone, you're trying to pull your pubic bone up towards your rib cage, and then you allow it to release. So that comes back into your lengthening position. As you pull up, we shorten that distance between our ribs and our hips. So we get the tummy muscles to draw in, and they start to connect and keep us in again a nice strong set position. Do a couple more here, because then we're going to stretch out the hip flexors. Then we'll come back to this movement and you'll feel how much easier it feels when we take the tension out of the hip flexors. So rest in the middle. I'm afraid it's a lunge. Bring your left foot forward. Now take your right foot back, but keep your feet hip distance apart. Once again you're in this position, your front knee just wants to sit over your heel. And if you're a little tight through your hip flexors, you'll feel straight away that your hip bones are pointing to the ground. So what we're going to try and do is tuck under with the tailbone. So you're almost bringing your hip forward and underneath the shoulder. And then your hip bone's going to face in towards the front. And you can let your hands sit on your hips. With an in-breath, we're going to bend our back knee and just feel a mild stretch here. Your weight doesn't come forward, you move directly down and you don't fall over. And then push the head up towards the ceiling. So again, you're breathing in, lowering the back knee. Front knee gently pressing out towards the toe. So again, just look, there's no shift forward of the weight. You're sinking, and it might not be very far well if you've got your tailbone tucked. If you've not got your tailbone tucked, you'll feel you can go right down towards the floor quite easily. And it's completely different once you get the bottom tucked under. And remember, it's just a stretch we're looking for. Now to make the stretch deeper, we can start to lift the arms just a little. Try not to push the rib cage forward, so you're not allowing the back to arch here. Use the in-breath and the out-breath as you rise. And again, it's a nice slow stretch. You're just easing into your back knee and then pushing up out of your heel. Now we're going to do 2 more. You let the arms come a little higher if you feel ready. And one more time. Nice big breath in. And then breathe out. Step forward. Changing legs. So you bring your left foot back. Again, the feet are hip width apart. If you stand directly behind your front foot, all you can be worried about is your balance. So you can make your base a little bit wider. Square your hips. Hip bones facing forward. Little tuck under with the tailbone. Try not to let that knee collapse in, so you're gently pressing outwards. You're breathing in, keeping the shoulders above the hips, and then breathing out to rise. So again, you feel your pelvis stays level and it's not collapsing down. When you've got tight muscles, they'll start to pull your body into positions they're not ideally supposed to go into. So it's trying to resist the muscles pulling you in. Keeping nice strong set position so you physically stretch the muscles, and then a little press out the heel. Again, you can take the arms up, breathing in and breathing out to rise. So the in-breath comes through your nose and the out-breath through your mouth. And don't be afraid to hold that stretch a little bit longer at the bottom. Push out the heel as you rise, and notice I'm not coming backwards and forwards. Just moving directly down with the back knee and pushing up through my front heel. Still got a strong tuck. Breathing into your nose and breathing out through your mouth. And let's do that just one more time. And again, you can hold it a little longer at the bottom if you'll get more benefit from there. And then push out the heel. Step your feet together and let's come back to those pelvic tilts. So now these muscles have released that attach to our lower back and the front of the hip, which make the hips tilt forward. Probably that simple, really. And they hold the hips in this position. And they end up stabilising because these are lengthened where they should be doing the stabilisation. And because they're a little bit longer, the hips tilt forward, these muscles stay continuously active. And they're constantly pulling into your lower back. So now you stretch those a little so you can come back in to your pelvic tucks. Breathing in And again, breathing out, trying to scoop your tailbone under. And if you find this bit hard, you can hold your pelvis as if you're holding a bucket of water and it's full to the very brim. And imagine you're just trying to pour a little bit of water over the back of your pelvis, and then imagine you're trying to pour some water over the front of your pelvis. Keep the knees soft, because if you're tight through your hamstrings, it'll stop the pelvis flowing as easily. So again, a little tuck under the bottom, a little breath in to release. So think about lengthening, pulling your tailbone down away from the back of your ribs, right down towards your heels, and then breathing in, let it release. Out breath with the tuck, feel like you're zipping up, pulling right towards your belly button, and then breathing in to release. And just a couple more there. So that should feel a little bit easier than when you did it first time, because you're not fighting against the hip flexors that are tight and trying to hold the pelvis forward. And holding in the centre. So your hip bones are now facing forward, and let's come back to the shoulders. So the shoulders are back. You're keeping your tailbone tucked now to keep our neutral spine here. You may feel then the back's more tempted to come forwards. So let's breathe in, lift the shoulders and roll them back and down. Now again, if you're tight with the back and the shoulders, you'll feel that when you lift your shoulders, your ribs want to lift. So you're trying to, again, keep a nice neutral position and just let the movement come through the shoulders. It might not feel very big, but it's better to keep the movement small and keep it in the shoulders rather than going bigger and letting it roll through your spine. When you're ready, you can take the arms a little bit bigger, so you can just bring the elbows up and over, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And again, breathing in, squeeze into the shoulders, breathing in with the lift, and breathe out to pull the shoulder blades down into the back of the ribs. So at the back, it looks like this, those shoulders pull down. So again, we're still creating a little release across the top of the shoulders and activating the muscles through the back. We're going to do a little bit more stretching across our chest. One more big circle. Let the arms rest here. Drop the shoulders down, cross one arm on top, and then pull the arms back. And again, each time you're pulling your arms back, you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, and you're avoiding arching into your lower back. So as soon as you push forward, these muscles are getting short, and these have become lengthened. So we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to keep our abdominals switched on and keep the pelvis in a neutral spine. Try and get the hands just back behind the shoulders. And again, don't force it. If the ribs are pushing forward, stay within range where you're able to keep the rib cage still. Then we're going to go to a little diagonal position. We're going to open the arms and turn your palms forward. Shoulder blades squeeze together into the centre and then out to the opposite side. And again, little core connection so you're not pushing forward with the rib cage. It's gentle. Because if you go too far, your body's not ready for, you're going to take it through your body. Trying to keep that stability through our shoulders and just bring a stretch into our chest. Once more. And then rest here in the centre. Let's come back to the shoulders. Draw them back and down. Push both arms away without your shoulders lifting now. And then pull your hands back to your thighs. Pull them up. Push your fingertips down. So again, you feel your shoulder blades slot into your ribs. And as the arms lift, you're not allowing your shoulders to come up towards your ears. So it should look like this. Breathing in, breathing out with a lift, and then a breath in, reaching up. Breathing out, push down. Keep the pushing down feeling through your shoulder blades as the arms come out to the side. And we're going to do a couple more there. So that each of these exercises, if you feel they benefit you more, then just do a few more. It won't do any harm. Those stability muscles are designed to work for long periods of time. Now we're going to come into a dumb waiter. So you're going to bring your palms facing forward. Elbows are in by your ribs. You're back into a little neutral spine. So you feel the tailbone tucked. You're pulling your pubic bone up, like you're zipping your hips up towards your ribs and you're holding them there. Elbows are just tucked under the shoulders. Try not to let the shoulders roll in. So again, roll them back and down. Then gently push your thumbs towards the back of the room. So you're getting two things here. You get a little stretch with the front of the shoulders, but you're physically feeling your shoulder blades squeezing in towards the spine. The elbows stay directly below your shoulders, so you're not letting the arms come away. And again, you're making sure that you don't push the rib cage forward. So again, you're opening the front of your body and you're squeezing into the back of the body. Again, you may feel you get to a point where the ribs are flaring. That's going to make your back arch and your hips tilt forward. And then again, you're using the wrong muscles. So again, work within a range where you can keep the trunk of your body nice and still. And over time, you'll feel that you can get your arms further back without pushing your rib cage forward. Little breath in, and then breathe out to push away. Just 2 more. Okay, let me show you a little stretch that you can do for your chest on the floor. I know we did one yesterday where you can stand against a door frame with your elbow against the door. You can always do that with your hand against the wall. So you can put your hand just around your shoulder and gently turn your body away. So you turn to the centre of your chest. Now once you're there, that's opening up the front of the shoulder, and you just keep turning, and let your head turn. Then when you feel it's released a little, bring your hand a little bit higher, press your hand to the wall, turn your chest, and then give your head a little turn. So that's one way of stretching out your chest, and you do that on both sides. Remember, you've got about 3 or 4 fingers here that attach onto each individual rib. If the top one's tighter, the shoulder will roll right in. So sometimes stretching the chest here is fine, but you need to get the stretch higher up to stop the shoulder being drawn forwards. So a nice way again to stretch into your chest. You can do it with your hand on a chair. You can do it with your hand on a chair or your hand on the floor, or just something at a height. You come onto your hands and knees and you can rest the hand onto the chair, onto a little puffy or anything you have really. Now, your shoulders here are in line with your elbow and your wrist. You drop your shoulder down. Don't let the chest sink. You're going to push out your left hand. So your right hand. So you're going to push out your right hand and drop your left shoulder. And then you're going to turn your head. You're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, allow the shoulder to sink and then push out your right hand again. Now you might feel that you need to bring your arm a little further forward. So you're more at a diagonal position. And again, that'll get a completely different part of your shoulder and chest. Push out your right hand, turn your head, let the left shoulder drop a little bit more, push back out your right hand, breathe in. As you breathe out, let the shoulder drop, breathe in, and as you breathe out, again push out your left hand, right hand. Sorry. Breathe in through your nose one more time. Let the shoulder drop, you bend your right arm a little, and then when you feel it starts to release, then straighten your right arm a little bit more. Now again, you can just start to hear a rock gently backwards and forwards. And as you pull your hips back towards your heels, you'll feel that stretch becomes a little bit deeper. Now when you find that deepest part of your stretch, hold into it now. So you might feel your hips move right back towards your heels. And that means then the arms slightly forward. And as the hips pull back, you're going to drop your shoulder again and turn your head. These little muscles are responsible for so many things being out of line. Drop the shoulder. Can you pull your hips back a little bit further? Just let your chest become heavier. I should definitely do this one more. And let's try that on the other side. So when you're ready, you can bring your opposite hand onto the chair. Or if you've not got a chair to hand, don't worry. Just place your hand on the floor. You want to have your right arm nice and straight, so you're pushing away from the floor. You're going to take your knees back just behind your hips and extend your right arm out. Turn. So you're going to press your hand into the floor and then feel like you're bringing your shoulder in towards your body. When you've got a little stretch into your chest, straighten your left arm. You can walk your fingers further away. Drop the chest again and then push out your left arm. Breathe in. Walk your fingers further away, so you're walking right into your fingertips, you're pressing your fingers into the floor, and you're pulling your shoulder back in towards your body. Push it through your left arm. Glance to your left. Now remember, you can just start to pull your hips back. Just gently sliding your hips back towards your heels. Feel how that stretch just slightly changes through your chest. Through the front of your shoulder. Now you'll feel a part that feels tighter for you. When you're in that position, just hold into it. Breathe into it, and then breathe out, release. And you press the left arm back up again. So you're trying to pull your left shoulder back and push your right shoulder in towards your body. Maybe walk your hand a little further forward. Press your fingers into the floor. Now from here, with your right arm extended, feel like you're pulling your left buttock back towards your left heel. And keep looking back now towards your left. Breathe in, and then breathe out, sink. And come back into the centre. And relax there. So that's just a little sequence of exercises that you can do. And you might find some that are more beneficial to you, that you prefer to work with this stretch of the chest. And again, once you release the chest muscles, which again are the shoulders forward, see how these muscles here are really long now, and they've moved away from your spine because they've been held forward by these chest muscles. Once you get those released, you'll feel your hands turning a lot easier and your shoulder blades come together. So if you imagine that big piece of rope here, really thick piece of rope, and it's pulling the shoulders forward, and you've got thin pieces of cotton trying to pull the shoulders back. Whenever they're pulling against tight muscles, they're never going to be very successful. So if you release these a little bit more, and get a little bit more movement and release through the shoulders and the chest, then the muscles that are in the back are in a much better position to work. And they're not having to work as hard against these muscles here that are really tight. So again, it's just thinking about what's moving, what's staying still, where you're feeling the stretch come from. And if you're not feeling you're quite in the right place and you're unsure, happily just give me an email and I'm happy to jump in Zoom with you and just go through any of those exercises if you feel you need a little bit more. Thank you.